Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're over here at Rodney headquarters, and we're about to get started on some stuff. But before we do that, I want to show you something that's crazy. So this is a customer's car that came to Rodney, and it's a Hyundai, a 2014 Hyundai Sonata. And from what Rodney thinks, the oil was never changed on it, and this is what it looks like, which is absolutely disgusting. And I figured it'd be worthy to show you what happens when you don't do your maintenance. And this is what ended up happening. The engine seized. Instead of changing the oil, the customer added oil, and Rodney extracted 8 quarts of oil out of 2.0, which is absolutely crazy. Anyway, shifting focus on what we have going on. We got the Eva over here, and we're kind of in a crunch for time, but we're gonna get started. So with this Haltech, that is the Haltech setup, and what we have here is that's the wideband. We got the big boy right here, Haltech Elite 2500, and then we matched it with some other stuff. We got the wideband controller right over there, and then we have a flex fuel sensor. I've already reviewed this stuff, but that was a separate video. And then we have the plug and play harness right here. And that should be it for that. And then we have some sensors. I went with a different route. I ended up going with AM sensors. I asked some people, and this is what they recommended. So we're going with the AM for the oil pressure and fuel pressure. And these are roughly compared to the other stuff. So the reason why I picked these is the Haltech ones are very expensive, and then they all require, because they're very sensitive sensors, they require a specific extension, which is another $50 a pop. But they were $220 plus another 50, so you're looking at $300 for one sensor. I thought that was outrageous. These AM ones are about $150, and they don't require anything else unless you need it for clearance or anything like that. And these are the stainless steel ones. So I got 2 of those. And that should be it for the setup. We're in a time crunch, and we got about a day and a half or so to get this done. Tune date is on Tuesday. It is currently Friday night, and I'm hoping that we're able to get this set up. The tuner was nice enough. Shout out to Chris Carvey. He was nice enough to hook us up, and on Sunday he's gonna do a base tune for us. And that's pretty much it. So Rodney's gonna have the car overnight, and he's probably gonna mess with it. I don't do wires, so I'm just here as a helping hand. He's gonna be obviously the guy making the magic happen. Welcome back, guys. This is where we currently sit with the setup. Rodney got to working early today, and he was able to do a bunch actually. And this is our current setup right now. He's got the ECU already getting power. This is not a how-to, guys. All right, so I'm just walking you through the progress that we're making here, but this is not a how-to. He's got that hooked up. He's got this is for the ethanol flex fuel sensor right here. And he's got the plug and play harness already hooked up. He said he's already gotten it to power on, and he can hear the fuel pump priming, as well as he's already gotten power to the gauges. So everything's already out. I'll show you the stock ECU. So this is our stock ECU right over here. Like, how many years? What, 17 years worth of use right over here. Looks pretty clean too, honestly. So this is our old setup. And right now we're about to get started on the wideband controller, which we have down there. We got to hook that up over this way. Sorry for all the moving around, just kind of all over the place. But we're gonna have to hook up the wideband controller, swap it with the current wideband down there. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but there's a wideband bung down there. So we're gonna swap that out, and then everything else should be pretty much set up. And we're running fuel pressure and oil pressure. So I'm gonna show you under the car here, and that sensor is for the oil pressure. So that's already hooked up. And I think the reason he hasn't done the fuel pressure one is because we're going to end up swapping the fuel pressure regulator. And then additionally, I'm going to be moving it from over there to over here. So let me find the fuel pressure regulator, and I'll tell you why I went with that. We're going to be switching from the AEM to this Aeromotive setup. The reason for that is from the moment that I actually got the AEM one, which I'll go ahead and show you once again. From the moment that I got this setup, the shop owner said that this setup is not good. It doesn't flow as well as the other ones. So I was originally going to get the Fuel Lab setup, but some people have said that tuners have had issues with that. So I went ahead and got the Aeromotive one, and we're going to go ahead and try to switch it from that side. Because of the whole pipe blowing off stuff, which has happened multiple times, we're going to try to see if we can switch it over here, and we're going to have to remove some of these relays. I want to say these are for the injectors, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have to find a new home for them, and then hopefully put the new fuel pressure regulator right over here somewhere. Quick update for you guys. This is where we're rerouting the new fuel pressure regulator. I'm not going to run a gauge just because obviously it's too close right there. I may run the gauge right over there. In reality, I don't even need a gauge because that's what that sensor underneath is for. So we'll have pressure over by the gauges anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that frees up this room over here, so no more busted gauges and stuff if the pipe were to come off. All right, guys, about to install the wideband controller. So we just undid the old one, and I ended up giving up on this, but Rodney didn't, and he hooked it up just like he always does. We got let me show you from the inside. We had to route this, but because the connector is so massive, it's a real pain to get it through that firewall. So we're about to hook this up to this and then do a calibration test type thing. And we should be in good shape after that.
26 should be power. Fused power right here. So A26 is what it wants me to go to. So it says A26 and then like this, A10. A26. 26 is in the bottom row. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in. 7 in from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's the next day. We got a lot of progress made. We have about an hour and a half before we're supposed to have the base map done. So we've already pretty much taken care of all the fueling. So this is where the new fuel pressure regulator will sit, along with the new flex fuel sensor, which is right there. We ended up, we didn't have enough room for the gauge over here. So we put the fuel pressure gauge right over here on the actual fuel rail. I think it looks pretty neat right there. And that ended up freeing up a lot of space over here. So everything is pretty much done with the exception of 2 wires. So all we have to do now is go ahead and wire up the fuel pressure sensor for the failsafe, as well as the one for the oil. And we're pretty much done. The wideband is already hooked up. And we actually spent a lot of time last night trying to figure this thing out. The computer right now is doing an update, but we managed to get on the Haltech software, and we thought we had to do a free air calibration. We didn't know at the time, but we wasted all that time, and we didn't need to do it after all. So we're pretty much wrapping it up here, and once we start with the tune or we get any further progress, I'll keep you updated. But this is currently where we stand. All right, guys, so this is the next day. I didn't get a chance to film yesterday. It was just a crazy night. But the base map is done on the Evo for me to be able to drive it to get tuned. The tune is actually scheduled for tomorrow. And here's currently where we sit. The Haltech is installed. The wideband controller is installed. So we had an issue yesterday with the base tune where the wideband controller was not getting enough power. So it ended up timing out, and it took us like 3 hours to figure it out. The problem is, well, the negatives that came from that is that the car was running so rich. I've never seen a car run this rich. It was ridiculous. And it actually, as you can see right over here, it's cleaned up, but it's stained Mr. Rodney's floor over here. So unfortunately, that took the hit for the team. And but it's fixed now. So we were able to get the base map on. The only problems that we're facing now is that for whatever reason, Haltech only provides you with one of these ports, and we're using it for the wideband controller. So we had to actually order a extension for this, and actually overnighted it. Additionally to that, we're going to be making some changes. It works now, but it's kind of ghetto rigged, as you can tell. We're going to go ahead and fix that. All right, guys, there you have it. So the car runs. It's on the base map right now. We're gonna make some small corrections to the fuel pressure regulator, but I'm not gonna bore you with that stuff. Just trying to get specifics. There's a certain way you have to route it, and we didn't know. But that's gonna cover it for this one. So catch me on the next video where I take the car up to the shop and get it tuned on the new Haltech setup. So I appreciate you sticking around. Take it easy, and I'm out. Peace.